Welcome back, everybody. This Week in America, website thisweekinamerica.us. Guest on the program, Carol Ann Conlin, an author and an illustrator. She's one of 13 children, born in Paris, Ontario, Canada, grew up in Brantford, Ontario, home of Wayne Gretzky. Carol Ann is a graduate of Mohawk College, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Graduated with a certificate in graphic design, received a certificate of appreciation from the College Board of Governors of Honorable Mention in creative writing in 1997. The award was for placing second in creative writing for a short story, An Extraterrestrial's Opinion, written in March of 97. Some of her writing was published in a yearly publication offered by the staff and students of Mohawk College. Carol Ann has also won several awards for her artwork, and when you see her latest book, a children's book, The Humongous Goober, you will understand why she was awarded for both the writing and her illustration. Carol Ann Conlin with us on This Week in America. Carol Ann, welcome to the program. Pleasure to have you with us today.
Hello there.
It is really fun reading the book, The Humongous Goober. And this actually is a story, and we'll talk about the story here, but this actually is like a slice of your life, right? This is something that happened to you, triggered this thought that this would make a great book, which it has. Talk about how this whole concept came about.
Well, it came about, the concept of the book came about from my daycare kids. I had a pug, king pug, who would always try to sneak my coffee. So the phone rang and I went out, and when I came back, the one little guy screamed, "Look at that goober slick," and the other one saying, "It's humongous." So anyways, the book came about from that. And I wrote the book for my grandchildren. I was just publishing some things that my husband James asked me to publish. He passed away about 3 years ago, and I had to promise I would write my books, do my artwork, and travel. Anyway.
Well, that's interesting, and he would be very proud of what you've done. The book we're talking about is The Humongous Goober. Carol Ann Conlin, our guest on This Week in America. You go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and you can link on directly to get information on the book. And Carol Ann is on Facebook at facebook.com/carolann.conlin, and that's Conlin. What kind of reaction did you get? You dedicated the book lovingly to your grandchildren. You talk about the kids in daycare as well. What kind of reaction do you get from the books when the kids can actually see? There's your dog. Yeah.
The kids love it. Actually, when I was first writing it, I had a few ideas. I have Nana's Magic Closet and a few others. But when I asked my grandkids which book they thought I should put out, they said, "Oh, definitely The Humongous Goober." So they all want copies of it now, and they've all been reading it, and it just seems like a lot of nieces and nephews have got the book, neighbors have got the book. It's done quite well for itself.
Well, it's very easy to read and beautifully illustrated, and talk about being able to combine both of those, not only writing and choosing the words, and we'll talk about how you choose the words, because this is not a 500-page novel, but getting the illustrations there, because the illustrations tell a story. Even if you didn't read the words, you have an idea what's going on from looking at the illustrations. How did you juggle those two?
Well, I guess when I just come up with the words, and then I draw a picture to go with it, to match it, I tried to make it so that younger kids could learn to read. It's a book that I hope that will get kids to read more. I just drew each page piece by piece and put it together, and that's about how it was done.
Well, besides being able to read, they'll learn like big words, humongous. I had to go back several times and look to make sure I was spelling it correctly. So this has been a learning experience for me, too. The book is The Humongous Goober. In the back of the book, you can actually draw and explain that, because it's sort of interactive. And it's a story that kids can relate to, because they all have pets, and they all have pets that get into things from time to time. Talk about the back of the book where you can actually draw a picture or color a picture.
Well, I love art myself, and I love getting kids to draw. I find that it interests them, and I think that in the book, it's the best thing you could do to get them to be interactive with the book. This way they get to draw their own favorite animal, and then on the next page I have a picture of the grandma pouring tea with the little dog in the corner, Pugsley, just happy and jumping around.
The book is Humongous Goober. The author and illustrator, Carol Ann Conlin, with us on the program. Go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and link on and get all of that information. When you sit down, you've got this concept for writing it. How difficult is it to get the words down where they're understandable, they're quick, so a child can sit down and read them and take a message away from the book, maybe without them even knowing they're taking a message away from the book when they finish reading? Talk about that process of sitting down and writing the actual words.
Well, what I did is I sat down and I had to write all the words to actually say what I wanted to say. And then I had to think of a way to put it in a way that would be simple for kids to read.
Yes.
And would still keep their attention. Therefore, some of the words that they learn are ring, slurp, up and down, because in the book it says up and it goes UP, so you read the word up, and then it says down, and the word goes down. It's a way of getting their attention so that they know what the up and down is.
How important?
It just took a while to come up with some ideas that kids would love and they'd learn.
And to see the finished product, what was it like when you're actually holding this very colorful book and it's like, wow, I just did this and it really looks good? What was that feeling like when you saw the finished product?
I couldn't believe it. I thought the book was pretty cool because I only drew them they're just pencil crayon drawings with black. I drew them with black pen and pencil crayon on top, and yet they came out very good. I think the book came out very well. It was well accepted.
They did an excellent job with that, and you can find out if you go on and look the book up. Of course, you can Google it, the Humongous Goober Slick. Go to our website, thisweekinamerica.us, and you can link on to information on the book. And you can also get information by going to Carol Ann's Facebook page, facebook.com/carolann.conlin, CONLIN, and get all of the information there. I mentioned one of 13 children. How did you ever find peace and quiet and time to go off and read? I'm gathering that you read a lot as a young child and obviously involved in illustrations and drawing at that time. How important was that for you as you were growing up?
Actually, I wasn't a great reader. I was a dyslexic.
Well, that's interesting.
But what I found is the very first book I read, which was really quite in-depth, was Florence Nightingale. And it was given to us from a lady who lived down the street. And the drawing, I've always drawn, the group of 7, A.Y. Jackson, came to the school and told me, I was one of the kids that was always beat up. I don't know how to say it, but I was the bullied one. Anyway, A.Y. Jackson came to the school and he saw my artwork. And when he saw one of the pictures, he pointed at it and he said, "Who did this?" And I was actually afraid to stand up and say it was mine. I don't know why, but I was. But when I stood up, he said, "Just keep drawing," and he signed my paper. A.Y. Jackson is one of the group of Canadian 7 artists, and he's probably passed on long by now. But I remember him as a man, white-haired man with beautiful big eyes, he wanted to take us everywhere and show me whatever he could in art, and we had a great time with him. He was very inspiring, and that's how I became the artist. I guess I just kept drawing.
Well, that's so interesting because here we are years later, you're recalling that almost like it was something that happened to you yesterday, and it actually, that moment in time years ago, what is safe to say, really shaped the rest of your life, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. It has. I remember AY took us to one of the museums here, and we went as a class, and I was looking at a picture, and it was a drawing somebody had done with a little boy's eyes, and I just had to look at the eyes. Anyways, I was busy looking at these eyes, and the class disappeared, and I got into some trouble. But all I was doing was trying to understand these eyes. And it was A.Y. Jackson who helped us do that.
Talk about the significance of art. You mentioned in dealing with young children in daycare and your grandchildren. So often, and it's a battle that we face in the States with shrinking revenue and a focus on science and technology and electronics and mathematics. And so often we see the arts getting cut back. Yet you're thinking, boy, for so many of us, certainly for you, and I can recall where the arts touched me in my life, it's really been a significant part of who we are. Does that sadden you when you see maybe the arts are getting a little shortchanged when we're doling out funds for teaching?
It definitely does, because art is something that anyone can do. And as a child, they need to know that there's something they can do. And it inspires them to keep going. If they're having trouble in math and English, at least they say, I can do this. I can draw. And it inspires them. We need music. We need art. We need writers. We need That's a part of our intellect that needs to always be available to all children.
You mentioned as a child you felt that you were bullied, and what did the arts do? The ability that you could go off and read and draw, did that help you get through that period?
Yes, it still does. When my husband passed away, he was a first responder. He went into a fire and rescued 5 men. He was a volunteer first responder. Sorry, he was a volunteer first responder. He went into a fire and rescued 5 men from a foundry. They thought he was fine, but 3 years after, he died from the chemicals that he ingested. And I've found that before he died, he made me promise I would write my books, and he gave this card to my daughters. And the first book I had published, they passed this card to me, and when I opened it, it was a card that said, "To my Annie, stand strong from the man who couldn't be there." And he
Wow.
had a handsome young man give me roses. From then on, I found that I've started doing a lot of artwork because it takes me away from I don't know, I miss my husband. I guess everybody would.
Yes.
Anyone would. We were together since we were 13, married 45 years. But I find that by doing artwork, it takes you away from what's going on. It gives you time to relax, to kind of meditate. And when I'm doing my artwork, I see things differently. I'm able to think more calmly, and then I come back around and you have a beautiful piece of work to share with everyone.
Well, it sounds like he was a wonderful husband, and I'm sorry to hear the story. He's really inspired you to go on to do what you're doing now, including publishing the humongous Goober slick. And it's interesting because as you turn to sort of escape and to refocus, it wasn't to a math question that you turned to. It was to the arts that you turned to. I think there's something there we can all learn. The book is The Humongous Goober Slick. Carol Ann Conlin, our guest on the program, the author and the illustrator. You mentioned working on several other projects. What else are you working on?
Well, I also have Nana's Magic Closet. That has already been copywritten. My husband, when he passed away, he knew I had several books that I had copyrights on, but I had never published them. So I started publishing them. But I have Nana's Magic Closet. I have one is God is My Witness, Annie's Story by Ann Hayden. It's a pseudonym because I don't want kids to pick up my book. This is a book more to help others. And then I have I've done a few more. The Humongous Goober Slick. I have let's see, what's the other one? 23rd Psalms, paintings by Carol Ann Conlin. I have some short stories and poems. I have quite a few things out there.
Well, I was on the Facebook page and I saw the Annie book, and it wasn't your name, and I was thinking, okay, you're talking about somebody else, but that book, was that nominated for an award? Did I read?
Yes, the book was nominated for the Eric Hoffer
Okay,
Award.
that's what I saw.
Um,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was very honored to have my name put there, especially being a dyslexic. It was very cool.
Well, you should be
But
very excited about that. So you have a number of other projects, and hopefully we can have you back on the program to talk about those. Through all of this, you're able to reach out and to help other people, whether it's a book geared for adults or this book which will bring a smile to a child's face and help them as their imagination is growing, learn about the arts. How does that feel to be able not just to have the book and to feel like, okay, I've accomplished something, but I'm actually touching lives, whether it be a child or whether it be a widow somewhere?
I think it's cool. I think that to be able to help people is something we all have to do. We all we need each other, and if you don't share stories, then other people won't know how to share their story. And once you start to share stories, we can all heal. We can all help each other. I would consider it, what would you call it? I wouldn't consider it a hand, I'm trying to say this. I wouldn't consider it a hand out. I would consider it a hand up.
Oh, yes,
And
exactly.
I would hope that if anybody read the book, they would just help someone else. Just do your best to help the people around you. We have to survive in this world, and I think that we need each other.
Well, the book is The Humongous Goober Slick. It will bring a smile to your face. This would make a great book to give to any young people in your lives. And the illustrations are excellent. The book is excellent. It's available all across the country, all across the countries. We're talking to Carol Ann from Canada, so it's available worldwide. Information at our website. You can link on directly at thisweekinamerica.us. And again, the Facebook page for Carol Ann is facebook.com/Carol Ann, one word, .Conlin, Conlin. This has to be an exciting time for you. And Pugsley still doing okay?
No, Pugsley has passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I liked him.
Yeah, I like him too. Bruce and Maddie. Pugsley I bought from Humane Society. They were going to put him to sleep when he was 2 years old, and I just couldn't stand to see anything happen to him, so I brought him home with me. And now I have 2 more pugs. I have Robert the Bruce and Matilda, who are Bruce and Maddie in my book. And yeah, I think I love the pugs.
Yes, and you can see the pictures of all that we talked about at the back of the book, the Humongous Goober Slick. Carol Ann, thank you so much for joining. I got about 30 seconds or so left. I mentioned Brantford, Ontario, and when we talked before, I said, isn't that the hometown of Wayne Gretzky? And you actually were familiar with Wayne Gretzky when he grew up in Brantford.
Yes, Wayne used to take care of my granddaughter, my daughter Holly in the nursery at St. Mark's Church. He was a pretty good kid. Yeah, can I say just one more thing?
Sure.
I think that I'm hoping to write books that put smiles on people's faces. I think I'd rather see them smiling than sad.
Well, yes.
And if kids can laugh, that would be cool.
And the book will do that, and it's relatable because it's our dog would be doing that, or our neighbor's dog would be doing that. So it's certainly relatable. The book, again, is The Humongous Goober Slick. Humongous, in case you can't spell it, I didn't the first time, Humongous. So it's an education for all of us, The Humongous Goober Slick. Carol Ann Conlin has been our guest on the program, and you'll get all the information available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us. Carol Ann, congratulations on really an excellent book that's going to touch a lot of children worldwide. Thank you for being with us on the program.
Thank you very much. I'm very honored to have been here.
It is our pleasure. Once again, The Humongous Goober Slick, the book. Carol Ann Conlin, our guest. You're listening to This Week in America. All the information available at our website, thisweekinamerica.us.